6:17, Flyers defenseman Danny Savrett, former captain of that Knights Memorial Cup winner, Scott Moir and Tessa Virtue's favorite junior hockey team, by the way. And in the booth with Peter Kite, unbelievable, a horse that was like 1,000-to-1 shot, wins it all. And if you bought a ticket and bet on this horse, you were probably a rich man or woman tonight. More on that with Peter Kite and Danny Savrett coming up. But Virtue and Moir, as they're called, are in studio with us tonight. The big national championships in London in 1 week's time. The place is going to be packed, hoping to see Virtue and Moir put on one of their best performances leading up to the upcoming Olympic Games. And we obviously can't wait for that. It's just mind-boggling, the anticipation and what those games could mean to Canada. And, of course, the two wonderful people in studio with me tonight. Tessa, last season, difficult for you guys. The shin injury. Was there a moment where you thought to yourself, oh my, maybe this is an abbreviated career. Maybe this is not something that's going to continue. Maybe our destiny ends here.
Yeah, it was a scary time, and I think diagnosing it ended up being compartment syndrome, but the diagnosis was really the hardest part. And when they said basically, you get surgery or you retire, that was kind of a shock to the system. And knowing I had a healthy partner who was raring to go, I felt like I was really letting the team down. But luckily, I was in good hands at Fowler Kennedy and had strong rehab, and it's been a long road, I think longer than I maybe anticipated, but in retrospect, I appreciate now how much I love skating, and we sort of have that renewed passion and that spark to our skating because we're hungry for it and we don't want to miss a beat. So I think it really helped us, and it sounds cheesy, but it did make us stronger.
Scott, what was that like for you? Of course you want to be out on the ice, but this is your partner in crime, man, and you know before anything happens on the ice, you have to be there for her. Were you battling your own emotions while trying to keep her positive as well?
Yeah, it was a tough time for sure. Tess and I actually have never been apart for as long as we were last year, so it was really tricky for us to kind of battle that side of it. And as Tessa said, it really did make us stronger, and this year it's made us a lot closer and on and off the ice. So, that really helps when you're competing together and you're in a high-pressure situation, so it really did help us. Getting
back out on the ice, were you tentative at all? Were you cautious, perhaps, and maybe checking with her to see if everything's okay? Did you take it slow, maybe perhaps at a pace that was a bit concerning for you because obviously you've got to keep up with the game. Everybody's gunning for Virtue and Moir. So did you find that it sort of impeded your progress back and that you're just a little bit concerned about the injury?
It was a little bit of a different pace. We really had to learn how to train differently, how to really train smartly, and it was a tough time last year. We look back at it now and just don't even really remember competing or how we competed or even why we were competing for that matter. But it was great experiences for us to compete under that kind of pressure. And now we feel like we're so lucky to have all this training behind us and be able to go into competition so ready. And we can even take our performances to the next level.
Of course, and you just have to have this renewed spirit, Tess. Just knowing where you were and what the outcome could have been, you overcame that, and it's almost as if you got a second chance to get the job done, and that's really had to light your fire, and perhaps that, as with the tie-in with the Olympic flame, it's really about going to the Olympics now and making all of that tireless work back count for something.
Exactly. I'm so lucky to have, the support team around me that I do. My physiotherapist, Mary Brannigan, has just been a dream, as well as, like I said, the Fowler Kennedy people. They really took care of me. And Scott was a great support. So coming back, I think it was mentally more challenging than anything I've been through. But it does give me a certain sense of confidence now that we can get that training under our belts and step out onto the ice knowing that we're ready. Because that was something we didn't get to experience last year. We were skating, just hoping to make it through the program, and that was just such an odd feeling.
What's the figure skating community like? You get the sense publicly that everybody's kind of cool with one another. You see these shows, you've got Elvis Stoico, and you've got Kurt Browning out there, you've got Scott Hamilton, you've got the Russians, Soleil and Pelche, you've got French figure skaters, you have Katarina Witt out there. But that's the public perception. Behind the scenes, when you guys were going through this last year, were you getting support from the Elvis Stoikos and the Debbie Wilkes of the world, or did you feel like you were alone?
I think we were getting support. We definitely felt support from past Olympians like Jamie Salé, David Pelche were a really big help. And I think there can be some rivalries in the sport, but the Canadian team has always been really close. And we're a really tight family, so I think, we help each other with like Patrick and Joanie, and that helps, and it helps us all raise our level of competing. So, do
you feel that way, or was there ever a sense of, hey, they're knocked down a little bit, now I can take a couple of extra steps up? Did you ever feel that there was a resentment out there, or do you feel real compassion from some of the people who you might have been competing against?
I'm sure on the world stage there were some people that were quite happy to see us going through a tough time. But we actually train with our biggest competitors, Merrill Davis and Charlie White of the United States. And they were so supportive. We're great friends with them. Really? And it's an interesting dynamic that we have with our training mates. But they were quite supportive. And going into competitions with them, we knew they had our backs. And, I think everyone was really just wanting the best for us.
How does that work, though? These are the same people that you want to knock down a peg or two when you're on the ice under the bright lights, but you do have a friendship with them, and when you're not skating, you do care about them. It's just that you want them to finish second anytime you guys are going head to head. Talk about that dynamic, Scott.
Well, that's a very unique situation, as Tessa said, that we have with Merrill and Charlie, and training together, it's a perfect situation. We get to push each other every day, but we keep it really friendly and very supportive. When we get to competitions, it's still friendly, and then as soon as we take the ice, we know we both have jobs to do. And, every time we compete, I can honestly say that I want Merrill and Charlie to be at their best. And I want us to be at our best and beat them. So I guess that's just the way it works. I want everybody there at Olympics so that nobody can look back and say, oh, well, they weren't there, so they really shouldn't have been Olympic champions. We want everybody to be at their best and be there so it can be a really great Olympic Games.
Well, again, it's a testament to the sportsmanship that both of you display. And there's that public perception that everybody's one big family, whether you're on this side of the border, on that side of the border, or on the other side of the Atlantic. But I do get the sense that y'all care for one another. It's not always the case, but you guys are exemplary, and you deserve a lot of credit for caring about your opponents as much as you do. Believe me, I talk to a lot of athletes who hate their opponents, especially hockey players or baseball players or football players. They are seething. They want their opponents to go down. You don't want them to finish above you, and that's okay. And we're hoping that to be the case, that you do finish above them. But a lot of credit to you guys for just showing so much sportsmanship. Of course, Thursday, compulsory senior dance at John Labatt Center, a place you'd love to skate. The place is going to be packed. Everybody wanting to see you guys do your thing. Tessa, from now until then, do you put a game face on? I know you have a lot of friends and family here in town that want to catch up with you, but is there a time where you say, that's it, no more phone calls, we're not doing any more media, we're going to hit the ice with our coaches, we've got to get our game face on, because it's not just about what's going on here next week, it's also about Vancouver in a month's time?
Yes, we definitely need to focus and, like you said, get our game faces on. And that's... We've been in our little bubble, our training bubble, for a few months now, so we're getting good at that. But actually, as soon as this interview's done, we're we're going to go home and shut everyone out,
yes.
Shut the world out. No, I'm just kidding. But our friends and family are really understanding and very supportive. But we just need to focus on our job next week, and heading into the Olympics, I don't think we're going to be doing too many social things or letting too many people in.
Do people understand that, though? That you're not here just to chill out for a bit. It's you guys get some time off. Hopefully, you deserve it. But this is the Nationals are here, and this might feel like home, but this is where the competition's at, and just kind of leave us alone. Do people understand that, Scott?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do understand it. There's always a couple people that don't, but I think that comes kind of with what we do. We're kind of property of the public at sometimes, and as much as we get out there, it really benefits our skating. So I think with next week it'll be a little bit tricky being at home, and it is the last competition before the game, so we will be going to qualify for that spot, which won't be officially announced until Monday, but it's important that we treat it like it were the Olympic Games. So we will be kind of taking media down a little bit and really just focusing on our job that we have to execute.